Oh, how's everybody doing? Happy weekend. What is it? Saturday? It's 9:30 a.m. in New York. We're not in New York, but I'm always going to be on New York time. It's just a function of where I grew up. Can't help it. So I hope everybody's doing well. We've got a finishing touches job today. We got the My Delicate One song we were working on last time finished up today. Let's see what we can do with it. And I did that thing I like to do where I like listen one time when I have fresh ears. And I have to say, out the gate, there's a bunch of things I want to change because I don't know why. It's just a culmination of things. It could be by the time I was making some of the mix bus decisions I made last time, I made weird decisions. Also, I used a bunch of plugins I never used. That's never a good idea. You have to use them at some point if you ever want to get good with them, but when your ears have been working for a while, hours, I'm talking about like 4 or 5 hours, it's like the worst time to try new plugins because what you really need is an objective, you can't be all messed up where maybe you don't hear high end as well because you've been working for a while all day, something like that. You got to have some perspective. So the worst time to try new plugins is when you're beat up. And I wound up using a couple plugins I hardly ever use on my mix bus. And I'm going to basically like take them off and go back to stuff I'm used like that I use all the time because for whatever reason, I listened back to this thing and I was like, man, that's so far from what I consider what I usually do. It's just so far from it. And that's the thing. When you use the same stuff over and over, you get so familiar with how to get what you want out of it. And then, it's really hard to beat that stuff. That's why I recommend people don't go out and buy every plugin you can. Just buy and don't buy every new plugin that shows up because it takes so much time to learn them that once you learn the plugins, you can make them do so much, the ones you have. With the simple chain I have of like 4 plugins on the mix bus, I can get it to do so many things that always benefit the way I work. Like what I like to boost on a bass or on a kick, I can get the Mic DSP ML4000 to just do so much to take what I do and elevate it. It's a multi-band limiter, but it has a flavor to it, and it complements the way I work because I've used it for so long. As soon as I put on something else that has a whole different flavor, you got to have fresh ears, number one. I'm telling you, because if you do, you'll be like, what's going on here? Why? Like, I like this one thing it's doing, but what's this other thing? What's this other character it's giving me that I don't want in this thing? And that'll just slip by you if you're not fresh. That's how I look at it anyway. So if I'm going to try new plugins, I got to be fresh. I also that's a good moment for references. You don't have to reference other people's mixes. You could reference your own if you want, or other people's, stuff on any of the streaming services or whatever. You could throw that up and compare stuff, but it's you can't really do that until you're done with a mix. So something you might want to do is try new plugins on a mix that's finished. Try that. Like you did a mix you like at some point in your life, I'm sure. Pull that up and switch out something you have there with the stuff you're trying to learn. That I think will tell you the most because that way at least you're starting from a place of you use stuff to get to a result. Now use these new things and see if you can get it to a comparable result and see how much you might have to manipulate it in order to do that. That'll tell you way more about those plugins, the new ones, than mixing into them will. Trust me, because, you figure I would learn by now, but anytime I use a new plugin on a mix that I'm not familiar with, especially on the mix bus, that's where things compound. The issues stack up. Man, once you start doing that, every time I've done it, I wind up taking it off later. I wind up listening with fresh ears and being like, what is this weird thing? I used, what was it called, a Steam driver or something on like 2 mixes ago, I think it was. And I was like, ooh, this is so great at the time. Later, I listened to it. I was like, what is this freaking thing? What's this artifact coming from somewhere? Like, why does my mix have no 500 hertz? And I was looking, I was like, what's this freaking thing? Took that off, the new thing, the Steam whatever, and everything came back to normal. But that's because I didn't know the plugin. So never do that. I don't know what it is, but never do that. What's going on? Oh, we got Alex Christoph. We got Mr. Psychotronic in the house. We got Braxel. We got Shigyono TH Music. What's popping over there? What'd I miss? Just a bunch of awesome hellos. Yo, good to see you guys. Warheart Arts in the house. And we got, oh man, Chuck Norris died, didn't he? That's unfortunate, dude. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris, indeed. I hope everyone's doing well out there. And keep in mind, I'm about 20 seconds behind y'all. So that's when things get written in the thing, I hear about it 20 seconds later. So hopefully we're good. Everything sounds good visual-wise. This is what we're looking at right here. We got, throw up this is the session. I'm feeling good today. I don't know about you guys, but it feels fresh. Feels like a good time, a good day. I just pounded a protein shake, so all should be well. Let's see how it goes. That's yeah. That little intro was like it's like a little bit of an after school special there about like, you know, this is your brain. This is your brain, you know what I'm saying? In a frying pan. This is your brain with a side of sausage. And I feel like that's where we're at. We're about to, like, I'm going to show you what I mean. Because I didn't touch the mix. It's exactly where it was at the end of the last one. Because to me, that actually is the most helpful. So people can follow. If you watch from front to back, you can actually follow what's up. So when I hit play on this, which I'm about to, this is why we do these part twos, why we break stuff up. Because a lot of work was done that was great. There was some mix bus stuff that was crazy. So let's listen to it first. Everything looks routed right. Okay. I reloaded. I noticed one of these. Okay, good. We're good over here. All right, good. Let's hit play. Let's rock and roll. Make sure everybody's got onion rings. Hope all is well. To Alex Christoph, Shigyono, TH Music, Mr. Psychotronic, Braxel, Warheart Arts, and anybody else who wants to join, come through. Hit the like button so this thing gets pushed out to our friendly folk out there, friendly engineers alike, and let's rock. So first thing is when I hit play, all right, I don't want to play it all the way through because I want to start making the changes. Because right before the stream, when I played this thing, I was like, you know what? Like it just feels weird to me. And what feels weird, let me show you. Let's start taking stuff off, all right? Because this is the stuff I don't usually use. The Pro Q3, I don't typically. It's not usually on my mix bus. But the Pro Q3 doing a lot. And, I mean, what you can see what it's doing. It's doing a lot. I don't usually go that ham on a Pro Q3 if I were to throw it on the mix bus. Toop, which is doing a freaking lot. VCME, which does a lot. I mean, they do a lot. And I got, the VCME alone is a compressor, a limiter, and a soft clipper all in one jam. And Toop is tube saturation, tape saturation, an opto compressor stage, and then like an EQ. So it's, when I talk about a lot, those things do a lot. And then this sidecar, which is my favorite, but in a position I don't usually have it in on my mix. And the rest is kind of typical, just the ATR and the inflator on the end, or some kind of saturator on the end. Lately it's been the inflator. But so as I look at this and I listen, I think it's just not taking up as much space as I want. And with fresh ears, it's like I can hear it in a freaking second. Whereas, man, my ears must have been totally fried, where I was almost scared and hesitant to put bass in or something, because it feels like there's no bass to me. Like, the bass is there. I can hear the bass and notes, but it's not filling up the space that I'm in the way it usually does. So let's start taking stuff off. It's the best way to fix stuff like this. We're going to start with the mix bus. First thing I'm going to take off is tube, because like I said, there's EQs in there. There's all sorts of saturation and stuff, but because there's also EQ and compression, it's messing with my head a little bit. Let's take that off first. The first thing I notice is it gets about 5 dB louder, which isn't bad. I don't hate it. It's probably going to mean we're driving this too hard, which is the reason it was lowered by 5 dB at the end stage. This thing output 5 dB. So we're losing a lot of level with it, which doesn't really matter that much to me. But when I listen to it, I think, okay, we'll take off the Pro Q3 also. Let's see what happens then. It gets a little muddier, but at the same time, it's giving me those frequencies that I was missing. It's giving me about 20 to 30% of what I was missing frequency-wise, sitting here going, why doesn't it feel warm enough? I'll put them back. You'll see what I'm talking about. Like, that doesn't feel warm enough to me. So when I take this off and I take this off, at least we're going in the right direction. We're getting closer. Now, the VCME, I'm going to pop that off real quick. Or let's take off the EQ at the back of the thing first. We're getting closer already. I mean, this thing doesn't hurt it that much. It's actually maybe even tightening it up a little bit, which it's a little boxier, so with this thing on, it's better. But when let's take off the VCME too. We're taking every freaking thing off right now. Now the VCME is bringing up the level like crazy. Now, what I'm hearing is I want more lows that's not here, which is ultimately, I think, why we put this on and boosted a ton of lows, because I wanted more lows in this. So what else am I missing? I'm missing low mids, lows, a bit of width. It feels like all of that stuff, the whole thing, we're getting squashed in here. So I'll take the inflator off also just for shits and giggles. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to take this off, but we can't have nothing here. So I'm going to trade what was on for the bus comp that I always freaking use, and in this case I didn't use, or any compressor really, but any compressor other than the one in Goodhertz tube, which I'm not very familiar with, because I'm sitting here last time being like, do I want pre, post, sat? Like, I didn't even know what sat means. And I tried to look it up, but you need a freaking degree from, I don't know what, from the school of Goodhertz, their own school, to understand what SAT is. The manual said a lot of stuff that made no earthly sense to me. I don't know, it made no earthly sense, honestly. So, but I only read it like 1.5 times. On the halfway through the second time of reading it, I said, nah, I'm not reading this thing anymore. It was crazy. I don't know, but I was also pretty fried afterwards. But I was determined to figure this out. I just haven't done it yet. But anyway. So I'm listening and I'm like, it's something's rubbing me the wrong way. Like, what happened to my spread? Like, why does this feel small, right? And I think it's a combination of a bunch of bad decisions. The Pro Q3, number one, gutting the middle a little bit, but also the bus comp. Let's put that back. That kind of glue is helping. Now I'm going to put the Mic DSP ML4000 on, and this is the thing that gets me back to the level. So, like, let's go to the VCME instead for a second. It's already better than it was before. Like, let's feed this into the YouTube feed so you guys can hear this. This is the other mix, so I don't have to turn the plugins off again. This is the one we printed at the end of last time. This is the new one. I'm going to put the inflator on because the red lights are going off, and I don't want to touch... Actually, you know, what I really want to do is put the mic DSP on because that'll change the sound even more. But just from what we just heard, forgetting about the freaking red lights going off on the mix bus at the moment, what I notice is it's so much more full as opposed to this weird, like, gaunty scarecrow mix. That's how it feels to me when I listen to this. I'm like, how did I ever let this gaunty thing go through? Like... Now, granted, I exaggerate a lot, but these type of things, like as I'm talking, I'm embellishing a little bit. Some people may think it's fine, or I don't think so. When I listen to this, I'm like, it's definitely small, you know, and I don't like small. I don't want the mix to feel small. So I need to, in order to make it not feel small, the low end should be expanded. Things should be, listen to the difference. This is just with the bus comp and the VCME now. Now that's a little, it feels right, kind of. It's still boxy. But other than that, it's exciting more. It takes up a little more space. So that's where I'm like, you know what? Let me trade this thing that I don't usually use on my mix bus for a similar reason that I'm not very familiar with it. So let's put on something I am more familiar with. Especially, and what I mean by familiar, I mean I am familiar with the sound it gives me. Because I've used the mic DSP ML4000 on so many mixes that I know what it does. It boosts the lows, it tucks in the low mids, and it makes everything a little more exciting. That's really what it does. But where my crossovers are, tuck in the low mids and boost the lows. It's a symptom of the 158 hertz crossover. It's a symptom of how this whole plugin sounds. Even on clean, it's aggressive sounding. It has a flavor. And when I put just the bus comp into that, listen to this now. Now that's way closer to what I'm used to hearing sitting in this position. Because all of a sudden now the lows are in. I hear the lows, which was all I was really looking for, was like, where's the low, like, aggression that usually I can get so easily? And that's what I'm realizing is the VCME ain't doing it. It's boxy as hell in there, which is why we went with the Pro Q3 originally, to remove some of the boxiness. But rather than that, I'm convinced that me trying to make up for what this is doing, the mic DSP, with a VCME and a Pro Q3, was just never going to work. I'm pretty convinced of that. At least it wasn't going to work that day, because those two things do not add up to this. It just feels so much nicer to me. Now I turn on, like, usually I'll throw this EQ in there, in this exact position. After my compressor, a little bit of EQ. And there's no compression circuit in here. It's off. I took it out. But there's a little EQ. Now, typically I have this set at like 200 as a starting point. So let's start there. And it's on half. Keep in mind that the multiplier is half. So that means everything's in half. So this is 3 dB, not 6. This is 1 dB, not 2. So just keep that in mind. And let's listen. Not bad. See, now this is something I realized years into mixing. I realized the thought of boosting 50 hertz is nice on a Pultec or something where it's so wide at the bottom. And when I started, using this plugin relatively recently, a couple of years back, I was like, you know what? I don't like the 50 hertz boost on it. Maybe that's because it might need to be a shelf or something instead of the bell I have it set to, but I feel like the 200 hertz boost works for the way I mix, makes things feel bigger. That actually trickles down into some cell phone speakers and little speakers. That 200 is like, you don't really hear 50 hertz on those freaking things. You hear 200 though. So it winds up making things translate better to small speakers. And I'm sitting here. I love the way that feels on my monitors, but this it also kind of feels pretty good and maybe arguably better. I'm not really sure. Let's switch to the shelf on 50. Well, the 50 hertz shelf feels okay. Maybe that's even closer to what I like than this. Because that still feels okay, but I still feel like we're missing some subs at the bottom. And that's the interesting thing when you know that the balance of your mix is pretty solid. I don't need to go in and boost low end on bass or low. Like, I'm not going to even go there. I'm just going to see what I can get out of this, because a bunch of weird decisions were made before with this other stuff that was not going to work. Whereas, like, that feels a little. I may stick with something like this. Maybe we'll split the difference and we'll hit them with 100. That's what I love about this EQ. The choices of frequencies are really freaking good. They're very useful. 50, 100, 200 on the low end. Like, that's pretty solid. And then you can dip stuff out of like 150 simultaneously. So you kind of have a Pultec thing going, but it's not exactly a Pultec. And it's arguably better to me at this point in my life anyway. I'll tell you, that's how it feels anyway. It's better. So anyway, let's check out the chat real quick, because I've been jabbering a lot. Oh, Slag Media. Slag Media is in the house. We got when Chuck Norris left home, he told his father, "You're the man of the house now, bro." Rest in peace, Chuck. Totally, dude. Braxel Sam, he's good. Mr. Secretary, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. He went into the midst of the Reaper and Roundhouse. Dude, I can't believe nobody believes he died. He's unstoppable. That's impossible. Shigeona THB and all the regular. Yep. Hello, all. Make sure you Onion Ring City, Braxel. Check out Cowboy Kent Rollins. He knows how to make good onion rings, dude. Don't make me hungry over here. That protein shake is only holding up this house with freaking straws. Shigiono. Yeah. Live stream for session setup. Thanks for doing these every few days. Just happy to do it. You know what? Brian Piontek, 6113. Slag Media. Let me know if that's actually, if you want if you want me to sit down and do a live stream and just set up a mix and jibber jabber about why I set it up the way I do, I can absolutely do that. It would be a piece of cake live mix to do, and I mean, a live stream, and people might ask questions about stuff that they don't typically get to while we could focus on it in more depth. But at the moment, I'm explaining why I use the things I use, because I know a lot of times for live streaming, I put on stuff, and some people might be thinking why I'm picking what I'm picking. So maybe now it makes sense. Every plugin you use has a bit of a sound signature, except for stuff like FabFilter stuff. The rest of it, it's made, if it's after a piece of analog gear, it has a bit of a flavor. They all do. And they're all good at certain things. And just the same way that mixers usually set their templates up for the way they like to work, I pick the plugins I like, and so does everyone else, based on what it gives us. We know we can get something from certain pieces of gear, certain pieces of plugins. It's similar in that way. I will use, if I'm mixing the bass and it's not big enough, has nothing on the bottom, I'll pull up a Pultec, like every time, because it's perfect for that. If I can't get it out of the SSL EQ, I'll use a Pultec. And stuff like that. It's like if you know what you can get from a sound, you're way better off. And that's why I say don't buy new plugins. Learn the ones you have, like the back of your hand. Then you'll know what to pick for what. Like I'm learning the Alicia envelope because sometimes the SPL transient designer just doesn't do it. And the Alicia, that's their transient designer, and it's awesome. And I'm learning it to be able to know what I can get from it in all circumstances. And I'm still kind of new with it, but it's on kick in this, and the freaking kick punches. So I love that. But that's a good example of like, do your best to learn the stuff you have rather than buy new stuff. But that Alicia has been in my folder for a while because I always felt like I needed, I don't have a ton of transient designer plugins. I think Spiff is arguably, you could call that a transient designer. I have that one, and I have the SPL transient designer, and then I have envelope. Like, that's it. I don't go out buying all of them. I don't have the Sonox one. There's probably 100 of them I don't have, and I like it that way. I literally prefer it that way. Now, when we focus in on what we're doing here, the bus comp has such a predictable result also. Like, I know what I can get out of this thing, and if it doesn't work, the unfair child's usually the second choice. Or, I mean, I could name like 8 second choices, really, but the DBX 160 can be a good choice if none of those work. But the compressor on here is a fantastic compressor if none of those work. This is close to a 2500 type sound, I find. And an API 2500 is another great choice. So between those, you'll get it done. But the limiter, every limiter kind of has a bit of a flavor, like I said, except for FabFilter. And even the FabFilter Pro L2 has a flavor. And that's might be the lightest on the flavor. Once you use like an Oxford limiter or something, that thing's flavor city. This is flavor city. They all have a huge footprint. You cannot get around it. So your mix takes on that flavor. Now, this has been a thing that I've gotten so familiar and accustomed to that when it's not there, the boxiness just jumps out and shouts at me. Whereas I can sort of mix boxier when I use this, which has a different result than if I tame the boxiness prior to using the limiter. So it's interesting when you think about that, is that everything affects everything else. So if I were to not use this, I would have to change the style that I like to mix, which is keep everything big as I can and let this thing tuck it in. And now that's a weird way to work, but it works for me. To me, it's actually the way to work because I just know that when I don't do that, it always feels like everything is too thin at the bottom. So I've made a conscious choice to go kind of boxy and then ML4 tuck in that low mid. I don't think anything does it better. This is not unlike how you would work if you were driving analog gear. If you were driving analog gear, you'd push certain things until you hit the sweet spot, and you might lay into your EQs, really crank them, because you can get something out of them. And then when you hit something like a compressor with a vocal EQ where the high end's been turned up, but it's an 1176 in the analog world, that needle would freaking move, and it would sound awesome. I never felt like, oh, that's too much compression. Whereas in plug-in form, when the needle moves, I get kind of like, I don't know about that. And it's a similar thing. You're pushing into the gear is sort of fighting you, pushing back, and that's what creates the sound. So when I push in to the Mic DSP ML4000, I feel like it fights back and creates a sound. And that's what I'm talking about. And there's so many freaking variables here that, like, I could see why someone else wouldn't want to use that, because if you don't like to mix the way I do, this may not work. But I know a lot of guys use it and love it. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how, everybody here is different. Freaking love this thing though. But it makes me really curious about what other Mic DSP plugins sound like that are analog sounding, because the only other Mic DSP plugin I have is an ML8000, which is way more transparent than this. And I hardly ever use it. But at one point I was like, I wanted a transparent multiband, other than the MB. I felt like the Pro MB was like, okay, but this was so amazing. I was like, let me try their ML8, the 8 the 8000. And I was like, this still feels like it. This always fits better for what I do anyway. But that ML8000 is very cool nonetheless. But I wonder what like their analog channel does. GDP's got that analog channel, and he uses it all the time because Charles Dye also's got it, and he uses it all the time. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I can tell you this. When I listen to what I just heard, and I compare that to this, it's night and day. I mean, this thing sounds like I'm listening to cubes instead of my monitors. It sounds like I got cubes, but I don't have cubes. But that's what it sounds like. And then I run it through here, and it's like, oh, there's the freaking rest of the frequency spectrum. Thank you. So it's just so funny, man. It's really hard to go outside your wheelhouse of what you like, of what works for you when you don't know other things. It's really hard because, like, no matter what I do, I could not get this freaking thing to work for me. And I wanted it to so bad because it made the snare sound cool, but it ruined everything else. So who gives a shit? So I put the inflator on to compare apples to apples because the inflator was on before, and I haven't touched the settings on this. It's exactly what it was for the last mix. I may tweak it now that I changed everything else, but... It sounds like we have a bassist now. Now we have freaking Robert DeLeo on bass being awesome. It's like, oh, the band has... Before, you heard the bassist, but you didn't hear the low end. It's like I chopped his nuts off. Thank goodness for fresh ears. Alex Christoph says, remember to check in mono. All the kids at the gym with their Dr. Dre Beta and Sony headphones are listening in mono. I asked them. GDP Japan, Alex Christoph Jones. Perhaps the membership is so expensive that they cannot afford a second speaker. 100%. Warhard Arts likes mono. He's saying he likes it. Alex Christoph Drums loves it. Alex Christoph Drums and GDP know that the only reason they listen in mono is because they can't afford a second speaker. Braxos bullshitting. GDP, I always check in Atmos. It's quite easy. Play our song while spinning your chair. I think Atmos is a bit like Luff's. Perhaps it's a matter of taste. He's approaching the mix with a fresh ear, so let's give Evan a bit of room. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, it's, yeah, Brax is agreeing with me. It's not what you think it is, though. It's what I mean, it's not, overcompressed wasn't the problem. It was being destroyed by a bunch of stuff that was bullshit. That wasn't helping. That was just freaking squashing everything, but not squashing it. That's the wrong word. That means overcompressed. It wasn't being overcompressed. It was hardly being compressed, but the point was the frequencies were disappearing. The tube was destroying us. The combination of the VCME in combination with this really wasn't doing much. That was the one thing where I turned it on and off, and I was like, I don't really notice much happening differently there. But the rest of it, these three things, woo, terrible. But it wasn't just that. It was what we weren't getting because we didn't have the limiter on there that complements the way I mix. That's really what it is, too. This limiter complements how I mix, like a piece of gear you're used to, you know how to drive. And the other stuff you don't. Yep, I agree. It definitely sounds better now. If you just threw a new piece of analog gear into the puzzle, you might not know how to get the most out of it. And it's no different with freaking digital bullshit. It's the same. Try putting a fan right between your speakers and your face. Mix will go, but your hot ears will chill. Rick Beato says cold fish oil directly into the ear holes 2 times daily, and other holes just for session setup and a waffle would be amazing. Session setup and a waffle would be amazing. Yup, dude. Session setup stream can be done. I can absolutely pull that together. It's and the last thing I was going to do is just make these changes without showing you guys what it was, because honesty is everything, right? If I came on and just made a bunch of changes and played it and then acted like I freaking always get stuff right, you would get the wrong impression of what it is to mix. Nobody does that. Everyone screws up sometimes because everyone overworks their ears at some points also. So the way you safeguard against finishing a mix and not liking it is by putting a break between the hours of work you do to go 80% of the way and then the rest of it. That's your only way out, because that will save your life if you're good. If you're not good, it won't save your life, because then the next time you hear it, you'll be like, oh, this is great. And then it will still suck. But the problem is, people try to finish a song in a day. That could go bad for you real quick. So if you're going to do a song in a day, take an hour break or two, like eat lunch, stop working, freaking play anything else, play the TV, just go outside, listen to the birds, come back in, and then you'll maybe be able to reset the same day. But don't try to, don't just make a bunch of decisions, like add a bunch of plugins you hardly ever use and don't really know, and then attempt to, do a freaking whole mix in a day. Like, never do that. Give yourself the time to listen back. So it's important for me to show you guys that, I think. That's why I didn't touch a freaking thing. I just listened to it and felt it sucked. And then I wanted to share that with you. But, and I did. That's why I did it. Nice, dude. Well done, Slag Media. Well done, bro. Well done. Alex Christoph says, Warhard Arts. Rick Beato says, cold fish oil directly into the ear holes 2 times daily. Does he really say that? I would freaking try anything to cure tinnitus. So if that's what will do it. I watched this video once where somebody put their hand behind their head, like rubbed this freaking nonsense or tapped it or did some bullshit. The people in the comments were swearing it works. I tried it. I think I tried it a couple times and I gave up after like the second or third time. It's like, this is just nonsense. I was hoping it was going to work. I was believing in it until it didn't work, and then I just gave up on it. But it's something about like tapping the bottom of your skull and the back of your head to like reset the whatever, and then tinnitus goes away. It didn't for me. My tinnitus persisted. Listen to the lows. Oh, man. I mean, I hope this taught you guys something, honestly, because it should teach you a bunch of stuff. Every limiter has a flavor. The VCME sounds nothing like the ML4, and all this stuff would sound nothing like the FabFilter L2, sound nothing like the Oxford limiter. Like, they all sound different. And the compression, this stuff can really start to go haywire on you. That's the truth. This is a great plugin, but there's so many choices of what you can do that it can start to go bad pretty quick if you're not very familiar with that plugin. Because, like, I still don't know what this compression stage is. No freaking idea. Like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I heard it was compressing, but I'm not using that plugin on the mix bus correctly. I've used it in mastering a few times because sometimes you need a little saturation. And you can do so little on it, but it was, I don't know, it just wasn't working out this time. Not for this. That sounds 100 times better. I cannot even believe how much better that sounds. Listen to this. That's insane. We just gained a whole freak. It's almost like our ears unclogged. There was water in it. They unclogged. Now the rest of the frequency spectrum opened up. You ever do that? You ever swim in a lake or something, or the ocean? You get out and you're just like, what is? Like, why does everything sound freaking out of phase in my whole head? Does that ever happen to you? All right, we're going to leave that as it is for the moment. And just take all this stuff off. Like, I'm so familiar with this freaking bus comp. I miss it when it's not there. I freaking miss it. All right, so now that we've got that under control, and I hope everybody kind of understood where we were going with that thing, we're gonna take the kick. We're gonna do some VCA automation on this freaking thing. I'm not gonna touch much else because that's what I meant. 80% was done for sure. A couple bad mix bus decisions almost took us off a cliff, and it can. And that's why mixing can be so frustrating for some people, because you could be like 4 moves away from something great and you'll never see it. You just go the wrong direction for like 3, 4, 5 hours when where you started, you were 4 moves away. Not where you started, but maybe after 50%, 60, 80% done of what you felt was necessary, you make a wrong turn and now you just keep going down the wrong path. And it's like, dude, the freaking hotel was back there. The restaurant's that way. Where are you going? Got to be aware of that stuff. All right. So let's do it. We're going to dump VCAs. Kick VCA. 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 Some David Lee Roth. Kick VCA right there. Kick VCA. Snare VCA. Drums VCA. We got overhead left and overhead right. That's what these two are, these pinks. And I'm going to leave the snare verb out like I always do. Left, right. Drums VCA. What the hell is this? Freaking tambourine? Yeah, I guess we'll take that too. I don't want to have to deal with that stupid tambourine by itself. Can you imagine a track with just tambourine? What's the world coming to? If I was going to automate that, like, this guy's out of his freaking mind. All right, so we're going to go overhead left, tambourine, overhead right, overhead left. Okay. Drums VCA. We're going to go bass in your face right here. Bass, bass, bass. What are we doing? Oh, we're sending it to a bus. All right, we got to take it from here now. The reason I'm taking it from the bus is because these tracks do not go to the mix bus. They go here. So lowering the volume here is just going to send less level into whatever we got here, which would be a no-go. We want to make sure bass bus is the only thing we're automating level of. And I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll answer your question. If this was in parallel and we had going there, and I wouldn't even include this. I would just include these, because if it was a parallel send that was not pre-fader, these control this level. More of this means more into this. So you don't have to think about it. But if you're doing what I'm doing now, which is they're all hitting this bus, we're going to automate this bus itself right here, this olive green bus. Bass VCA. Let's go. Bass VCA. Hold on a second. What else do we have in the song? Acoustics and guitars. Okay. Just trying to think how many I'm going to... I feel like I'm going to only need like 6 VCAs today, which is cool. Bass VCA. All right. Now, every guitar in sight. All these, this is the reverb, which we don't need. These are acoustics, that's why they're red. All the green is Guitar City. There's another reverb here, we're not going to do that. And then this is more guitars, all the greens, okay. And then this is another reverb here, we don't need that. I just do all my guitars together because the blend's already good. I just want them all to come up. If there was a solo, which there is, but they're on the same track, so forget it. The solo's perfect. So we're going to be fine, guys. We're going to be fine. Guitar solo, guitar VCA. Okay. Whoops. Let's go. Let's go mouse, guitar VCA. All right, now all vocals in the house, all this blue stuff. Voc VCA. Voc VCA. Okay, good. Now, the only thing, like I said, that might come up is I might be like, oh, I want the solo on its own track, in which case I'll change other to solo, and then we will be able to deal with that. I just think it's going to be fine where it is because it felt fine last time. Oh! Big Mac Miller Lite's in the house, dude. Big Mac Miller Lite. What's poppin'? What kind of band did you get, Slag Media? What do you got, dude? What kind of band is coming through over there? Mr. Psychotronic says, sound like my circuit when I take half of the parallel input. Yeah, dude, I hear you, actually. It sounds like, that out of phase thing. Yeah. There's a million ways why your sound could sound like that. You could just add 2 filters at like 400 hertz and one at freaking 10K, and it'll be like, where'd everything go? It's that's why I said it sounded like freaking cubes in here. I was like, why does my speakers? I thought there was something wrong with my speakers when I played the first time. I was like, what happened to what did I do? Like, where'd the freaking monitors go? Who replaced my monitors with cubes? That's what it felt like. Mr. Tambourine Man. Weird, there must be some settings on all right, yo, I just finished a graveyard. Nice, dude. Heading to bed. Remember to wear a mask and no kissing anyone if using mono. Dude, I hear you. I hear you wholeheartedly, bro. Thanks for stopping by, Alex Christoph. You're awesome, dude. And thanks for being a part of it, as always, dude. Bung bung. Big Mac Miller Lite with the bung bong. Bung bung. The 24-inch kick has me excited. It sounds huge. Nice, dude. I like a 24-inch kick. I like funk kicks, too. Like tight, smaller kicks can be also awesome. Really depends. A lot of funk drummers, like Nate Smith, he buries the beater when he plays a lot. I'm sure he does both because the dude's awesome and he can do probably anything on drums there is. But I know a couple times when the angle was right where you could see his foot pedal, he was burying the beater, which I always do when I play the drums. I mean, almost always, because rather than that big resonant sound of the drum, I often like the sound of a tighter thud. It's just a symptom of the music I think I like more. I mean, I love Zeppelin too, and Bonham is hitting. Bonham had all the tricks of how to hit that freaking kick. He probably did everything also, but a lot of the Zeppelin stuff, the kick is really resonant, and a lot of funky stuff, the kick is way tighter and more dead. Some of that is letting the beater bounce back, and some of it's burying the beater and not letting it bounce back, for the tighter stuff. And I'm a big fan of burying the beater. Where were we? Ooh, that's interesting. Why are the acoustic guitars muted? Could we not deal with them? If I'm not mistaken now, I'm remembering there was a part that bugged me on the acoustic. Now, if it happens again, I'll just take it out. But that at that spot, I must have muted them for that and then totally didn't realize they were out. By the way, if you're going to audition tracks, you might want to, I was doing this another song in the settings, this X or cancels previous solo. That's a really cool way to one to the next without having to hit mute. Instead, if you set it to latch, it becomes the typical way where you can solo like multiple things. But the other way, if I were to click this, it would take this solo off and mute it. And just not mute it, but this would be the only thing soloed. So you could like pop between different things, which is awesome. I said mute it because you notice how when you click this, everything else has this grayed out mute on it, because essentially it's doing that for you and it just tells you. Like a weird fart on this one of these acoustics. Hear that? It's really low, but it's one of these. It's not on the acoustic. It's on one of the electrics. Can't be those. It's got to be these. Here it is. It's super faint, but it's on these tracks. I'm going to get rid of the juice in between because we don't need it anyway. Now, if I'm going to do this again, I'll just create a verse group of guitars. But I don't think I'm going to need that again, but just in case. Now, all I want to do is make these acoustics a little louder. That's really what my goal here is. Just, let's see if we can get away with them being like 5 dB louder. Thanks, Big Mac Miller. He says, oh, that bass sounds crisp. If you're curious what we got going, it's a 4kg EQ, but it's 3 bass mics. One's a direct, so not a mic, but direct bass. SM58 on the bass. And a D112. Like a very popular kick drum mic. So they're all kind of doing very similar things. It's not split up like one's got the lows, one's got the mids, one's got the highs. It's just they're all doing very close to the same EQ. And in addition to that, we've got an 1176 Rev A at 4-1. And if I'm not mistaken, there's still a little compression here happening. Yeah, not a whole lot. Very little, like that first light flickering. And an SPL twin tube. So 4kg, 1176 Rev A. SPL twin tube for saturation on all the tracks. They all get the same thing. And the API 560, which is one of my favorite plugins. 550A, B, 560. You can't go wrong with API stuff. And into a bus that has a Neve 1073 and a Wolf comp on it. The 1073, what am I doing really? Not a whole lot of EQ. I'm using it more for the flavor. The filter on the bottom helps once I've combined all these tracks, just making sure we don't have any super annoying, like crazy sub-lows to get in the way of our kick is actually it's allowing the bass to cut more. It's not so sloppy at the bottom when I clean it up with the filter. And a little bit of boost at 700. Which kind of echoes the other boost at the API, but that was like 501K, so this is like right in the middle of that. And then a touch on the high shelf, the 12K. Up here, I definitely cranked this back. I'm pretty sure I cranked this back. In other words, I'm getting a little bit of saturation from just moving this knob a click, and then I had to lower the output as a result, but it changes the sound, so it gives it a little aggression. And then Wolf comp. Gotta love some Wolf comp in here. Love this love a Wolf comp. Gotta love it. The Wolf comp's the OG. Wolf comp was so used by me that I bought like every Good Hertz plugin because I loved the Wolf comp so much. And it was probably a bad thing because I don't know how to use hardly any of them because I freaking bought all of them. That's why. And I should literally spend time just using them, but that takes so much time, and who has time? Nobody has time. Hope that's not too hot in the feed because it's up in the high 6 LUFS zone, which means it could be a little hot in the feed. It's pretty dynamic, so the rest of the song. Hopefully it'll be all right. We're going to leave it there until GDP lets me know if it's bad or good, but it should be all right. It's just if it's, the amount that you guys get is a whole different control in the setup that I have with my camera feed, sending level to you guys. And I always turn it down by about 50%. 56 is the number I always have it set at. So that's how much I turn down the feed to make it where it doesn't suck. And it took me a while to figure out that number. A lot of tests went into that because I was just, very aware of, like, I could send you all the level in the world, but that doesn't mean it's going to come out the other side in YouTube sounding half decent, Whereas on my end, it's crystal clear. Getting through that whatever, that freaking tube that towed the wet sprocket is a whole nother thing. Levels are cool. Excellent. Towed the wet sprocket, dude. Sheepdog. They did an amazing version of Standing in the Rain. Bullfrog. Doing it again. That's from the I Know What You Did Last Summer soundtrack, if you're curious. If you had that, I Know What You Did Last Summer on your movie quotation bingo card, your movie mention bingo card, well, let me know. You can redeem your prize at the end of class. Man, I hate that word. I'm never going to say that word again. I apologize. Let's hit him with the triangle. Never going to happen. I hate that word. It just brought me back to memories. Oh, class. Hate that. All right, let's automate some schmoggins. Here we go. Kick, to here. This is nothing in here. Might as well get this out of the way. We'll see if we can get her done. None of these have anything on them, so we're doing all right. It's the smallest, like I said, 6 faders or VCAs. I'll take it. Now, you may be wondering why I always choose touch. It's because I spend the time to get the mix in the position that I like it. So I don't need to let the level, like, I don't want to let go and have my entire balance change forever. I want to let go and have it shoot back to wherever it was before I started doing automation. That's the reasoning. Otherwise, if you wanted, like, for example, let's say sometimes if I'm working, I'm like, oh, this kick drum needs to come up 2 dB in this whole part from here to the rest of the song. I'll change it to latch. So wherever I let go, it just stays there, and it'll ride the thing out till you hit stop, wherever you left it. Whereas the other way shoots back to whatever you had already done previously to doing automation. And that's my favorite way to roll by far. I always hit save, and then I title it something else. I think it's a valuable tip, because that way you could always get back to right before automation. You watched I Know What You Did Last Summer 2 weeks ago? Nice, dude. Let's pull up the other thing. When I say the other thing, I mean this, our awesome SSL 360 jam. Let's pull that up. All right, just getting into the zone here to rock and roll. Gotta love some moving faders. So I just always have kick first. That cues me up for everything else I have to do. And I always start at 0 because I never need to go beyond 12 dB. That's plenty. So that's how we roll. Let's rock. Everybody ready? Let's go. What do we got? This is great. You don't have to touch the freaking thing just because you turned on automation. Like, that's the other thing. Like, just because we're doing it doesn't mean we need to do a lot. I'm going to raise the snare fill up. Third Eye Blind, Semi-Charm Kind of Life. Note how loud the snare is on that opening fill. And then it tucks in. Notice how loud that is. That's stuff like that. He'll do that a lot. Guitars, when choruses punch in and stuff, super loud guitar, and then it comes back down as the chorus progresses. It just settles back in. But it's like the beginnings of the chorus smack you in the face because he's bumping stuff. I'm focused on cymbal crashes. A little too much on the bass there. Those riffs, I can't hear them, so watch the guitar come up between the hits. That might be a little much, but I like it because I couldn't really hear the guitar riff as much as I wanted. Back to the drum. The kick doesn't need any help. I think I'm moving the bass too much. Too much movement on this freaking guitar. I can already tell this is probably going to need a latch right here. Same with this. I got to hold the snare in position a little hotter for this part. AIM AI Energy, what's poppin'? Oh! How you doing over there? We're battling this thing right here. Anybody who's around, hit that like button. Do me a favor, hit the like, slam it, fade that thing up, twist the knob. Big Mac Miller's asking, Your questions were answered. Nice. Yep. You see me, I'm using the UC1 and the UF8, and I freaking love them because they're super responsive, and its tactile feel for everything is just, it's unmatched because I could take my eyes out of the game and just twist and reach and twist. Love it. Yeah, I couldn't do a touchscreen for me personally. Touchscreens don't work for me. They just never have. Something about, I don't know. Some people love that freaking slate thing. I just really have a hard time because you still have to look. Arguably, you have to look more because now, are you touching the right spot? And you got to like keep your eyes on it to know if it's doing what it's supposed to. Whereas just twisting the knobs is so freaking awesome. But I don't want to I'm not trashing that thing because I know a lot of people who really like it. I just am not one of them. I've never tried it, though. It might be amazing. It just seems a little crazy, but I love it. I love it in concept. I like how clean your desk can look and everything if you just use that. I just never tried it, and I'm a little bit opposed to it. As much as I want to get into the SSL 360 architecture, I just know my history of owning every controller in existence only to sell them and refer back to the mouse. I was with you, dude, I used an artist mix for a long time, and I hated it. There's something about, I used it for automation, it was okay, but I found that certain times it wasn't that responsive. Like, they don't hold their functionality if you use them enough, but I only use it for automation. And this SSL thing is worth its weight to me for just the faders. I don't use it for anything else. And I should. I just, like I said, for me, it's about spending the time to get over the learning curve of what else to do and how to do it. Is like, who has time? I don't know anybody who has time. So the faders is mindless. You set in your DAW, now you have automated faders. Like you're on an SSL desk at the VCA spot where you got your all groups, like Andy Wallace. Freaking love that. He automates from the VCAs, as you should. That's what we're doing. Except, ours is taking up a little tiny footprint in front of my screen. And the UC1's right next to it, and I use that on every mix. And the UC1 is unlike any controller I've ever seen before because you don't have to learn it. Literally everything I'm realizing now that I love about this stuff is you don't have to learn it. There's no learning. And every other controller that exists, you have to learn it. You have to map what the buttons are, and it's not one dial per function. Whereas the highs are only the highs. The top band of the SSL channel is only ever the highs. And the same thing with the filters. They're only the filters. You know what I'm saying? Every knob is one function. So you don't have to learn it. It's just like as if you had a console in front of you. Like the knobs are always the same on every single module. It's a beautiful thing, trust me. The same thing with the compressor, because that way muscle memory does apply, because nothing can ever be changed. Whereas on every other controller that I know of, you can change anything to anything. And it's usually as simple as twist a rotating dial and it changes. I actually hate that. I hate it. That's why using using 2 UF8s was never even in the cards for me, because I had 4 artist mixes and I'm like you. They all didn't get used except for one. And that's when I realized, I was like, you only need 8 faders. That's all you need. If you work the way I do anyway, you don't need more. You do everything else with the mouse. 8 fader automation is irreplaceable. Look at all these dots. Imagine doing that with a mouse. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? Big Mac saying, I'm mixing hybrid nowadays. RME UFX Plus and Ferrofish Plus. Awesome, dude. That's what's up. That's what's up. I mixed hybrid for a really long time, and I'm honestly very happy to not do it anymore. It's the fact. I loved it, but there was a lot of things I didn't like about it, and now I have none of those things I don't like about it. bass is doing too much cool stuff to not hear it in this section. I was trying to get going this concept of the bass is going to be the guy doing the more of the blah blah blah. So then that actually comes. Then the bass comes down. The guitar comes in with the counter riff. So they're talking. The bass is talking to the guitar because I'm boosting bass in the hits. The blah blah blah. Then the guitar. Then the bass. Then the guitar, like switching back and forth. We need more bass in this whole section. The snare is just too low. Snare sounds too good to be this low. very hard to automate this song multiple things at once because there's so much, nothing's like, there's all this counterpoint, there's all this blank, there. So it's really hard to focus on everything at one time. That second crash is so loud. I gotta adjust that. We've crossed into the 5 luff zone. It's scary, but I know the reason is because our VCAs have gotten us much hotter now because for some reason I determined I needed +8 on the freaking drums, mainly the overheads. Sounds good though. But we're creeping into the danger zone over here, so I'm just going to take our master down 1/6. See if we can get out of the danger zone. Lowered it by 3.2 dB. Now we should regain proper levels. Let's see. with it. Plenty loud. Let's focus on the vocal for a second. There's not much vocal in this song, so it'll make it easy. Kind of like the vocal back further than that, honestly. Felt better before. Like. I like that vocal sitting down behind everything. What's going on? Anybody just joining us? I just wanted to say we're mixing a song that's funky, alternative, old school rock. We're in the automation stages. We've gone through probably about 90% of what we're going to do, maybe more, maybe 95%, because the automation's done. Notice all these crazy dots. I broke the whole session down into 6 places. Every kick drum, which is in this case only 1. There's 4 mics on the drums here. Old school style, 2 overheads, kick, snare. That's it. We have kind of some parts of this are Zeppelin-esque, or at least influenced by that. So that's kind of, I'm trying to give us like an old school dirty sound a little bit on drums. That's where our snare has some decapitator. It's got a parallel crush bus, the SSL, smashing a version of all the drums going to that. I'm keeping the cymbals a little less compressed and just bumping them manually with the freaking volume fader on the drums. So if anybody has questions, let me know. But this drums VCA is overheads and tambourine. because like I said, there's only kick, snare, 2 overheads. That's all there is on drums. So kick and snare on their own fader for automation. The rest of the drums go here. You could do that even if you had 12 drums. The bass tracks, there's 3 of them, a direct, an SM58, and a D112. They're all going here. Guitars, there's like 12 of them. They're all going here. And vocals, they're all going here. So 6 places, which allows us to automate some life into this thing. Definitely something everyone, I think, should consider doing, at least at some point. If you like Bob Clearmountain, Andy Wallace, Brendan O'Brien, any of the guys that would mix on an SSL, there's 100 more that I could also name that do the same freaking thing. SSL made for automation, making the parts come alive. So that's what we're doing. We're doing it all in the box, and it doesn't matter if you're in the box or not, because this kind of automation with like a UF8 or any controller really helps. You could draw this in by hand, but imagine drawing all these dots by hand. That would be ridiculous. And like I said, there's more automation even in this than I was anticipating, because the guitar and bass are trading off. Like, it's that riff is, blah, 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 and then did it. There's like this guitar thing, and then the 3 hits, and then the guitar. So I'm sort of bass, guitar as that part happens. So there's this push-pull going on. Just making that vocal come out a little bit. Too much. You crack like a Dutch, if anyone's curious what those words are right there. You crack like a Dutch. And please, hit the like button. Hit me a like button over there. Throw it down. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We do these things every other day. We drop some sort of live mix. And we show you everything we're doing every other day. So the bottom line is, check it out. Any questions, throw it in there. Or just be part of our chat. Show your face in there. Become one of the people who are working with us around the world. Japan, Sweden, Germany. We got people from all over. Texas. Braxel's in Texas. We got Slag Media is in Pennsylvania. So we got all through the U.S. We got all over the place. And everybody's welcome. Alex Christoph Drums in California. And it's cool getting to know you guys. I'm not sure where you're at, AMAI Energy. Where you at, man? But yeah, it's where you at, War Hard Arts. Also, let me know where you're at. I want to keep track of where people are at. I need little stickies where everyone's from over here. And I need world clocks for where everyone's from so I know what's up. But yeah, we appreciate you checking it out. And join our Discord if you haven't already. I'll throw the jam to the Discord in there. So anybody who wants to can join our Discord, where we continue the conversation and open up a session on your end if you're watching. Work alongside while I'm working. It makes it like you're part of this crew of engineers. If you got questions, if you just want to talk about what you're battling on your side, sometimes it's a bass, sometimes it's a guitar, sometimes it's a crazy cat in the background. It could be anything. And it's not so weird when you're part of a crew. That's what's up, because we're all weird engineers as it is. We don't need to be more weird. We're already weird enough. We're plenty weird over here. Just going to finish automating this vocal. Now, it's a weird thing. If your vocal's out in front, it makes every part of the music sound smaller. Some people are always so concerned with hearing every single word of every single thing, and sometimes you want that. But sometimes you also have to be aware there's a trade-off for everything. So the louder your vocals are, the less impact the music will have. It has to be, in my opinion, where the vocal sits in the music. I don't like the vocal to be super out over front, like over top of it. And that's a kind of a popular thing today, but screw today. Forget popular. I want music to sound big and huge. I don't want the vocal riding on top of everything, personally. The Turtles say hello. What's up, Turtles? What do you got, Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo over there? What you got? Splinter? Casey Jones? What you got? The S on Mercedes is killing. Weird, and I like it. Weird vocals, weird melody, weird lyrics. I dig it. Best de-esser in the game, the one you do by hand. No, if this was a pop song, I'd want this vocal like out front, like maybe a whole dB, but I don't want it there. 1 dB is doable. That's usually if like stuff is If it's a question, you can usually go 1 dB in any direction, up or down. But in this case, if it's like maybe louder, I don't know, I'll just bring the whole thing up 1 dB, but that's it. As soon as I make it like 1.5 dB, the 0.8 increments is your friend. As soon as I make it twice that, I'll be like, I don't like that 1.5, that 1.6. I don't like that. Now I can't, what I did was made a bunch of moves, and I can't tell if I don't think I raised it because it didn't bump up. So like you could tell by going to a part like this, if I raised the whole thing, this part would be 0.8 up. So for the track, that's like your cue. If you, wherever you didn't automate, it'll show you. If you start at 0 all the time, this is why it's important, I think, to have a little bit of discipline, because if I start at 0, I know that before I started automation, that's 0. So that means if I see this as 0.8, I must have raised the whole thing by 1 by 0.8 after I got done automating. And I don't like it. It was better before. Like that's in this part anyway, for sure. That meticulously crafted automation is unbeatable. Now, like I said, it's arguable that should be louder or something. I don't really abide by that. Like, I want the music more powerful than the vocals in this particular song. Thanks, Slag Media. I appreciate it, dude. We're doing it, guys. Hit that like button if you got them. Hit up like it button if you got them buttons. You got them buttons, like them buttons. Hit them buttons. You know what I'm saying? Buttons. 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 Oh. But oh. This is a tale for all the fellas. Try to do what those ladies tell us. Be shot down because you're overzealous. Play hard to get, females get jealous. Okay, Smarty, go to a party. I got to throw it into here. This is actually something I talked about doing last time and never did it, so I got to do it now. These are our solo guitars, these two. And we're going to throw it into this tape echo, one of my favorite effects for a guitar. And it's bus 11. We're going to do this in parallel. So we're still going to the mix bus, but we're also going here. Follow main pan, make sure that's on in case we're panned. In this case, we ain't panned. Take it up some amount. I don't know. Maybe we'll make it like 6/8. Ah, you like that? I was very close to uncharted territory there. 6/8 it is. Here we go. Just that little bit of space, man. Gotta love it. I'm going to turn this up by like 3.5, 4 dB. You can hear what it's doing. Pretty crazy. Echo. The other thing is Cooper Time Cube. These are my two go-tos, especially for guitar. And like I said, once you get familiar with the stuff you're rocking, it'll be easy to pull up stuff you like. Also, don't be afraid to rock in multi-mono. In this particular case, nothing's panned either way, so it doesn't really matter. But if something was panned left, something was panned right, you don't want them necessarily to work together. Multi-mono is awesome. That's just when you turn the thing on. That's the stock setting. 16 on one side, 14 on the other. The double echo factor is cool. And that's not bad. Like, I don't hate that. But it's not doing a whole lot either. Let's hit them with a little bit of guitar spread. What does that do? It shortens one side to 9.2 and raises the other to 19. Let's hear what that's like. Hear how much bigger it gets? Like, it's really a lot bigger. It's not just volume. It's this depth that you get from a really tight delay. And this is very different than the Echo Boy. I mean, not Echo Boy, the Tape Echo, which was at 313 milliseconds, so fairly long. So I could run these two together if I wanted. You know, one doing the long, one doing the short on the same channel. It's just it sets it back so far. I could make up for that with some volume, but it definitely like sets everything back way further. I have a feeling the Cooper's going to do enough of the trick. It's kind of a dense part, a lot of guitars. I don't know if we want to get in the way with some of these, with the delay. You might get in the way and step on things. Can't forget about this guitar, too. This is awesome. Brian, that's hilarious, dude. Play a game, hit the heart when you hear the snare. Dude, that'd be too many hearts, bro. We're really punching him in the face on the end here. Face punching. A little too much movement. I love that. I freaking like that riff so much that it's killing us. Freaking love that riff. Just don't want to come up on the front of this part. I'm just trying to be so careful with it. If you're not familiar with that, you can always go to volume trim if you've written some crazy stuff and you just want this whole part to come down by 0.8. Like instead of how it might jockey around as you pull in the middle of a phrase that's all these dots on it, volume trim can be your friend. In this case, I didn't use it, but just wanted to point out that it's there in case you need it. want to juice up this kick track a little bit more. There's very little movement on it. It's like super light compared to where the other stuff moves so much. Now I want to move the kick a little. Let's start her off here. Oh, Toe Man in the house. Toe Man, how we doing over there? Hope all is well. How you doing, Toe Man? Why you so sensitive, dude? Awesome. Well, this stream's about 3% away from done. What I plan on doing is a little kick automation, then I'm going to print. And we're really close, guys. So hit the like button. Honestly, hit that like button. This might be the shortest stream yet we've done. However, we're rocking and rolling in here. Any questions, throw them in the chat. You're welcome to join us. All engineers of all skill levels are welcome. We appreciate all you guys. And we're making this happen right here. We're just a final touch automation on this kick drum. And we already dialed in our mix bus before we even started. So that's a good thing. You know, at least that way, when you're done with doing the automation, there's nothing else to do. Let's go. We're going to make sure we hear these kick. Putting it on latch. Little too hot. Here we go. Trying to keep it within 2 dBs of automation because that feels right. Unless something changes, like as the music gets louder, I'll have to deal with it. Even this part, I feel like I could come down a bit. Listen to those kicks, man. They're so good. Okay. Now, something I was just thinking is I might lower the whole guitars by 1 dB. Because some of the parts where I'm listening, I'm like, you know what? Either the bass comes up or the guitars come down. 3% meaning 3 hours left, right? Nah, Toe Man. You caught it at the right time, dude. What time do we start? 9? So we'll be done mad soon. It depends how many wideners are using the mix bus. You know what, GDP? Thanks for reminding me, actually. And that's hilarious. That widening video, I think, hit home with a lot of people. But I'm debating turning this on right now. Before I think about anything else, let's just do this. Let's get our choruses in line. Where's our choruses, guys? This song starts with a chorus. Which means we're actually not going to use it there, I don't think, because there's no reason to start with the widener on. We're going to keep this thing off. So check out what I'm doing here, okay? I'm very slight. This is what I was talking about. The width, 2.3 dB. That's super gentle. And then space a little more, but we're talking still early, like as far as this dial goes. You know, we're not even 25%, which would be, what would it be? This would be 25% out of 12. Wait, no, 4, 8, 12. That's a third. 33%. I'll take it. That's no big deal. But it's 33% on the space, not the width. The width would sound way crazier. I want this song to have a place to go. I don't need to kick in with that. I do. It kind of sounds pretty nice. I kind of like it. So I'm taking it off when this thing ends. Putting it on here. pretty much right on the money of this. I'll take it right there. It's good. What about this? Right there, we're going to turn it off. Now the last chorus can go somewhere, but tell you the truth, I'm not sure if it shouldn't be on for the entire end. I was sort of feeling it because that solo gets nice and big and giant and wide. It feels good to have this on. See how much it tightens up when the freaking thing is off? playing ghost notes between those. He's playing these little pitter-patter. Hear that? Boo-de-de-boo-de-de-boo. He's playing that, this Santo. Listen to this. These little pitter-patters, yo. All right, I lowered all the guitars by a dB, 0.8, but I raised them a little back in the chorus. Let's see if this thing needs this widener or not, really. It definitely comes back. It gives us somewhere to go, at least. You know what I'm saying? If that wasn't there, this is what I mean by without bright, there's no dark. Without quiet, there's no loud. Without tight, there's no wide. So this one jam, like when I go from this, it at first feels smaller, but then the solo builds, and by the time it comes out of the solo, in order to have somewhere to go, the widener's got to come on after it. Otherwise, we got this. That's great. That's what it is now. The widener's coming off in the solo, so it brings the energy back down a little and then builds it back up. This is without it. I like it better like that. It's one of those things, dude. Brighter always sounds better to everyone. Louder sounds better to everyone. But if you have loud the whole time, I just feel like there's not enough. It doesn't get us to this end chorus the same way. Like I like having that place to go. Dude, take it easy, Mr. Psychotronic, bro. Take it easy, dude. Yeah, right, Toe Man. He wants me to put a widener on each band of the UF8 and automate from start to finish. Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Yeah. You'll always be my baby, too. Sending best wishes. Later, Psychotronic. You're the man, dude. Everyone should check out our Discord for the Psychotronic Corner, where he builds stuff, amazing stuff that I think, honestly, everyone's going to need, because who doesn't want more Transformers and more amazing op amps and the study of all of it and understanding what does what and what yields what and what plus what equals awesome. I know I want to know about that stuff. It's my favorite section. Take it easy, Psychotronic. GDP says, I just love it when I open Plugin Alliance Installer and tells me there are updates for OG plugins, and when checking what the update is on their site, it says added usage data tracking. Perfect, dude. Perfect. Woo! Listen, you guys are awesome. I think we've done it. I'm feeling good about it, and I appreciate anyone watching, hanging out, doing your thing. You're engineers just like all of us, and we got to stick together because we're the weird ones, and we're keeping this thing afloat in this crazy music industry where everything swims around and freaking AI's coming to get us. It's like, what a crazy turning world we live in. And that's what we gotta keep up. We gotta stick together, man. Hold hands. We gotta chant and hold hands and hug trees. Glad I caught that. I don't know how that happened. I know, I just wanted to lower like one of these S's. That's why. If you ever want to get surgical with an S or something, you hit them with this guy. You got, the problem is you got to go up to the track to do it. You can't do it on the VCA, unfortunately. You have to be on the track, and then just by clicking and like just moving it over the thing, it'll be like, so you'll hear, and then like you'll know where your S is exactly. That little sound scrubber. Too much S removal. Shigiono, thank you, bro. We did it again, indeed. Everyone is cool around here. You guys are all awesome. GDP, you're the man, dude. You're the man, bro. And I know you got family going on over there and being awesome, dude. You're the man for sticking it out as long as you can, bro. I really appreciate you. Thank you for keeping this plane in the sky. Big thanks to GDP, as always. The dude keeps us floating, flying, sailing high above, with plenty of gas, plenty of fuel, and a clear windshield, and our bearings. He's got a handle on the radar. He's got a handle on the beep, 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 beep. He's got that thing nailed. He makes sure nobody's tracking us. The guy's all over it. He's all over it, and he's on our Discord, being awesome, doing his thing, flying high. Join us, join him, join Shigiono, join all the people that are the go-tos. We've got plenty of go-tos over here now. Be one of them, you know what I'm saying? All skill levels are welcome. Nightbot is on meds always, dude. Always. See what I just did there? A little talking for an ear break. That's what you can do. You jump in the chat, you get your ear break, and then all of a sudden you'll hear something like that you didn't like. Trippy, weird, and awesome. Now let's just make sure we got a fade out. We do. Why is the end before the fade out? That doesn't make any freaking earthly sense. Why is this end over here if the freaking song ends over here? Good catch. We probably can do a smoother jam here. That's by far the longest cymbal ring out I've ever heard, but it sounds pretty decent the whole time, but it's certainly long. Yeah, this is a pretty clean cymbal ring out. Usually you get a drummer putting his sticks on the freaking thing. Not this guy. Not Leighton. The Wise. Leighton the Wise. That should be his nickname because the dude is just put your sticks on the freaking drum is like the #1 go-to beginner rookie move. As soon as you finish, you put the freaking sticks on the drum. It's like, come on. I'm fading a cymbal here. This dude's a pro. He would never do something like that. Ever. Okay, here we go. Leighton the Wise, like Gandalf the Grey. Leighton the Wise. All right, let's run one of these things. I feel like we've nailed it. So what else could be done? If you're like, if your song still doesn't have a punch for the chorus, you want more punch, you could literally lower the volume of the entire track by a dB. 0.9 is what I like to do, because you have 0.9. Like you bring this down, you see it's 0.8. If you overshoot by 1, like go 1.6 and then go back 1, see how it gets to 0.9? Don't ask me why it does that, but it works like that for everything. It's either 0.8 or 0.9. That's what you get in the mix window. And the edit window. And I mix in this window all the freaking time, the edit window. So you could lower everything by a dB or 0.9 and then just bring it up in the choruses. I'm actually not going to do that because it already is doing that with the imager. So there's no need to do it again. It already feels like it gets big enough. I don't want to lose more volume on the quiet parts. I feel like they're fine. So the difference between this and where we started off is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, where we started today, it's a big difference. If you're curious what that sounds like, this is earlier. It's like missing frequencies. This is so much bigger. So much bigger. It's crazy, The balance is more alive too. That sounds like coming out of cubes. All right, we're going to M2. We'll just add an A to it because we already did M2 and then we did M2 before aught. So this will be after aught, so I throw an A on it. Okay, let's rock and roll. We're good. We're saved. We're good. We're rocking. We're grooving. We're doing well. We're about to print one and hope for the best. Hopefully the level isn't so loud that it jumps out of the speakers in the YouTube world. But if my predictions are correct, I think I'm rocking somewhere -7.5 LUFS. It could be -7, could be -7.5. It's probably 7.5. That's my guess. And just from glancing at the meter here and there, I feel like it's going to be -7.5, which is fine. Like, I don't give a shit about the LUFS. I've talked about this before. It really doesn't matter. Every time I make a mix, it comes out somewhere in this neighborhood, depending on the track. If there's, a song that has a lot of space and density and openness to it, that's a very different thing than a song that's fairly dense like this. But this is actually both. Because now I'm thinking there's parts of the song that are just like a kick drum, freaking bump, bump, bump. That's it. There's no audio events where there's nothing happening. So little. So there's has a good mix of both, honestly, of density and sparsity. This is sparsity. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do M2A. Let's get ourselves queued up, and then I'll turn the mic off. We're looking at wave output A1314. Interleave 2496. And MP3 good. Offline's off. Is it going in the right place? It is. Import's good. All right, let's go over here. All right, mic's going off. And then we'll print one, and then we'll do closing statements and jam out of here. And anybody's got anything to throw in the chat, now's the time to do it, because we're going to wrap up right after this. And if you've got any questions or anything, let me know. And here we go. Running one right now, M2A version. Let's go. Okay, we are back, and we are chilling. I do think that fade at the end may be a little long, but that's the easiest thing to deal with later. That cymbal does go forever, man. It just keeps going. But it's a natural, really slow fade off, and I don't mind it. But I might mind it a little bit. We'll find out later. Fresh ears is going to be the best way to tell anything. So the move is never outwork your ears to the point where you're fatigued. And if you have to, like I'm telling you, take as many breaks as you can. Little 1-2 minute breaks every 10-15 minutes is like the money shit. It's so good. It resets stuff. But listening to this with like fresh ears tomorrow, that'll tell me what's up. Most likely, I'm going to be satisfied because I usually am not able to rock out like that unless it really feels good. And the headphones told me a lot, too. Felt good. That's what's important. I feel the emotion coming out of the song. That's all I really care about. And if I come up here, I think I was pretty spot on the money. This is the Pro Limiter Analyzer. If you're not familiar in Pro Tools, you got this for free. Pro Limiter Loudness Analyzer. It comes with Pro Tools. And if you click your track, you double-click it, and then you click Analyze. 8-1. I'll take it. Like I said, I don't really care about LUFS because that's a pretty good, decent range. I'm satisfied with that. And look, the True Peak, we're so far away from True Peak, which is awesome. I like that. The whole thing is good. What it really means is I could squeeze out probably another dB if I needed to, but I don't need to because I feel it makes me feel the way I want to feel. So what's the point of making it like freaking 6 or 7? Like, it's stupid. So many people do that bullshit. It doesn't matter. It really, if you lose life, it doesn't matter. If you could squeeze another dB out of it and you think it sounds the same from an unbiased perspective where you're not destroying anything, then it's okay to make it louder. It's case-by-case basis because depending on how hard you push stuff will determine if it'll hold up to squeeze another dB out of it. I could usually squeeze another dB out of my stuff, and I sort of leave that for mastering if I decide that it needs any bit of boost compared to other things, because I'm a big fan of the album, huge fan of an album. I don't like singles or freaking, who said this? That Aronoff dude. He said this. He said the album is king. The album is king for a few reasons. Because historically, the artists, what did he say? He said historically, artists that have an album of amazing tracks are the ones that have the most longevity. A single is good gateway. This is what he said, almost verbatim-ish, on an interview he did on the Writer Is channel. Basically, he's like, a single is a gateway to other stuff, but the people you pick up along the way who like the one single is not the same fan as the ones who will like an album, and you want the ones who will like an album. And the artists that actually make albums that are amazing are the ones that are just unbeatable. They're the ones that pack venues, as opposed to like, they've got a ton of streams on a song and nobody will show up to see them play. It's a very different thing. Very different thing. And I do agree with him on this a lot. I think albums are where it's at. So you save a little bit of space. And I don't even think of it as saving space. I just think of it as if you mix the song right, you can always squeeze another dB. If when you go to put it up against other tracks in the order you want, you need it to be a dB louder. But more often than not, it's safer to go the other way. Like if your album, the track before it and the track after it are the ones that matter the most on the album. It doesn't really matter so much the first track or the second track. It's really about the order within the album. Determining like, okay, does this, when one song finishes and this one starts, does it need another dB or does it need to be lowered a little? And it could go either way. That's the thing. So I'm very satisfied with this. Like, I would never throw something on right now to try to do that. I would just do it once I'm playing with the two tracks in front and back of it. Then I would do it. I would see if it works there. And if it doesn't work, that's when I would reach for something. It could be something like the CG2. The CG2 kind of doesn't have to be a huge sonic footprint. It's really, this is the CG2. I'll just turn it on and show you what I'm talking about. This thing. the Chris Garinger deal. If you hit it light, like maybe even lighter than this, but notice like this is super light on this thing. This is 1.15 and 3.25. Super low amount of stuff. This would boost the whole thing by a dB, maybe a dB and a half. Just set like that. And that's plenty and might be too much. But something like that could get you there. Sometimes I get that little extra push if I need it from a little more saturation. So maybe in inflator, I could squeeze a little more out of it. Like I'm, taking it down a dB on the input. Is that necessary? Maybe I would check that and see if it works at 0, and then I'll gain a dB right there. So yeah, it also could just be a question of increasing the effect amount or the curve amount to get more if I needed it. But everything you do here is going to change the sound. So if you're happy with the way a mix sounds, I wouldn't recommend start tweaking stuff. I would only do it, like I'm saying, if you're trying to match a song before and after. I think that's what it comes down to. Sorry, I know the thing wasn't on the deal just now, but what I was showing you is in Oxford Inflator, these are my settings, and this is at negative 0.9. I could easily get another dB here if when I turn that on, this doesn't go to freaking, to hell in a handbasket. If the thing starts going nuts, mostly you'll hear crunchy or like it'll just sound overcooked. And if you hear like a bit of a burnt sound on it, it's like, all right, we got to revert back to what this was and then do something else. But I was saying increase the effect. I got plenty of room there if I needed it, or curve. But this also changes the feel, the balance a little bit. And I don't like that. So if I added something, it'd probably be a CG2, something like that. If I needed another dB, and I probably don't, but that's an option. Sometimes I'll do something like gold clip, and not necessarily even at the end. Sometimes throwing gold clip before the limiter, the mic DSP, will squeeze that extra little bit out for you, push it a little more to the foreground. But when I see numbers like this, like -8, I'm happy with that. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. That's, for a track like this with so much space in it, I think that's good. Like, look at this. You got a lot of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every verse, or whatever we're calling it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another set of them. They're all through this freaking song. So those are moments with no audio events to keep the volume up. So the volume it ducks pretty significantly in those moments. Yeah. So that's where we're at. What's up, Braxel? Braxel in the house, yo. What up, Brax? I hope you dug this mix, Brax. I hope you dug it, man, because we made a lot of changes. Like when I compare this to what was done last time, I mean, it's night and day. And that's the thing too, is like I have no idea what the last mix's volume was. I have zero idea. I would almost guess it's close. Let's see. 9.2. So the other one wasn't quite as loud, but it also just doesn't take up as much room in the soundstage. That's why it felt to me like it was on cubes, even though I'm playing it through my monitors. I was like, this feels so tight. Like, where's the expansion? Where's the width? Nothing there. So whereas this one has a vibe, man. It fills the speakers. It has lows. It has some more on top. Just the whole thing is different. And it's only a dB different on the LUFS meter, but it's a world of difference when you compare the two, like I did a second ago. I mean, it's only, 1 dB different. That's pretty cool. I dig it. Any questions, comments, anything? What do you guys got? Well done. I mean, you smoked it, bros. Thank you, Shigiono. I really appreciate that, dude. And if somebody wanted, like, it's funny. There's certain tools that are really good for excitement. Like this A-type, this Dolby A-type is a really cool tool for excitement. And not even, like, you could use it on the excite setting, but on the expand setting. The two of these settings are the money with this thing. Even the air setting, when used slightly, can give you that shiny sparkle. But, I like to use tools for mastering that are kind of under the radar in the sense that you wouldn't think of them as like, oh, that's a good thing. But in the box, everything's different. Like, people would run through certain pieces of gear in the analog world for a flavor and hardly hit them, hardly touch the knobs, just run through them. And I find when you hit certain plugins a little bit, just kind of graze them, you get a lot. Like this plugin can add a lot of life to something that was missing it. But we don't need that in this one at this moment. But if I audition it, I'm sure I'd like it, because that's the thing with that thing. Is like I could always find a setting on here that makes me like it, but that doesn't mean we need it. I think that's a lesson right there, is that like just because something might make stuff more, it'll also probably wear on you. And the worst time to make a decision on something like that is right now. After 3 or 4 hours of listening fairly loud just now on the last playthrough, and the rest of the time moderate to loud, it's a bad time to add things with brightness or excitement, because you'll overdo it almost every time. You'll be like, oh, that's way better. And yet it's just crispier. It's freaking like air fried now. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm sure that thing will probably sound great. But like I said, if I need it in mastering, that's where I'll do it. If I play it next to something else and I need the brightness, it's like, ooh, this track's too dark compared to what's after and before it, bada bing. We'll hit it with something to brighten it up a little bit. It also pays to have flexibility on the order. It's something that if it's ironed out ahead of time, great. Like if it's a concept album, obviously there's no flexibility. The stuff's supposed to be the way it is. But if it's just kind of willy-nilly, it does help to have a little flexibility on the order, because then you might not need to push a song into maybe a dimension that isn't really where it should be, just for the sake of the order. You got a lot of play in the order. It's such a personal taste thing when you're mastering stuff too. Like how much is too much to push something. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot here. So anyway, leave questions, comments. I'm curious about all you guys' thoughts. And if you haven't seen it, I dropped a video today on a couple things that I like to do for for automation on vocals, to make them like feel more personal. And I think without doing stuff like that, like this track doesn't need it because it has no vocals in the verses right now at all. And the chorus is where this thing lives. So it's an interesting arrangement because of that. And also there's no moment to pull it forward the way I would in a song that's, a ballad or something, and it's nice and powerful in certain parts, and then some parts may be totally empty and sparse. Pull that vocal forward. Pull it right forward, right to your face, by putting no effects on it, taking the reverbs off, taking the delays off. I mean, you can compress it and stuff, but just don't put anything on it that pushes it away from you. And all that stuff that's what it does. That's what reverb, delay, they all push it away from you. So yeah, check out that video if you haven't seen it. I just dropped it today. But yeah, more videos coming like crazy, and more mixes coming. Plenty more mixes. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button if you haven't. I really appreciate that. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's do some thank yous real quick. I got a bunch of thank yous I want to shout out. We got thank you to Slag Media Records. Thank you to Warhard Arts. Thank you to Mr. Psychotronic 5406. Thank you to Big Mac Miller Light. Thank you to Shigiono TH Music. Thank you to Alex Christoph Drums. Thank you to Braxel1. Thank you to Toman7729. Thank you to AIM AI Energy 2849. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. Good seeing you, Big Mac Miller Light. And anybody else, you guys are amazing, and we really appreciate you watching. I seriously appreciate it. GDP Japan, also thank you for helping. I really appreciate it, and I know you got family stuff going on also, and you're just awesome. So I just want to say thank you. You guys are great. Catch you later. We got hope all is well with Isabel Braxel. All right, be well, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. If it's not tomorrow, and it might be, then it will be the day after. So we like to do every other day, but sometimes we double up and do 2 in a day. So lots more songs coming. Another country song on the way. I won't tell you when exactly, but it's coming. And then there's another hip-hop song on the way. There's also this awesome, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's kind of pop, spacey pop, I guess. It's probably the worst. It's like psychedelic alternative spacey. It's probably a better word than even pop. But it's catchy. That's why I said pop, because it's catchy. It's also short. There's a bunch of songs coming, but that one's awesome. I appreciate it, Shigiono. You guys are awesome, all right? Everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay? Keep in mind, you guys can all do this. You can all mix a song, be happy with it, love the results, and then move on to the next thing. That's the ultimate goal. Don't get caught up doing the same song forever. Because obviously, like everything else in life, you probably want to keep improving. And if you do that, you will not improve. You have to put a deadline on it. It's the most important thing. So, anybody watching, I appreciate it. I mean it. You guys are awesome. This is Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. All right? You got this. Take it easy.